Moving out of London can be a complete nightmare, but with good advice and a steady nerve, together with your fair share of good fortune, it can be done. There are plenty of people who do it each year, but the common denominator for virtually every case with a happy ending is good planning and good research. There are a plethora of questions with potential to confuse your early thought processes. When should we put our house on the market? How long will it take to sell? Do we sell first and then find a house, or vice versa? When should we start looking at schools? When should we start house hunting? Do we rent a house in the country before buying? These are just a few of the multitude of questions, but if you consult experienced professional advisors and allow sufficient time for the whole process, you'll be giving yourselves a significantly greater chance of success. So, let me outline what our experiences confirm to be the preferred order. One of the vital investments from you throughout the whole process is time. You must allow sufficient time. From my experiences down in Sussex, I estimate that from start to finish, the average move out of London is taking between 2 and 3 years. By this, I mean from the date that the first school prospectus is requested to the date that the removal lorries are unloading beds, tables, sofas and freezers. This is quite some time, but you'll be giving yourselves a far greater chance of success if you plan ahead and allow sufficient time. Although it might seem surprising in the ongoing credit crunch, demand for top quality education in the country, both at prep school and public school levels, remains as strong as ever. Indeed, a good number of schools have built up such popularity that they now have their own selection criteria, sometimes with associated testing. This makes it absolutely essential to start looking at schools as early as possible. To avoid unnecessary disappointment, don't leave it until the last few months. When I first started with Strutt Parker, the trend was very much to find a house, then find a school. Today, the reverse applies. Virtually everyone is focusing on the school and then finding a house within striking distance. And the geographical area of house hunting depends heavily on whether the children are going to board or be day pupils. And don't forget to think about senior schools as well. It's fundamental to the overall success of your move that there are senior schools of the right calibre for your children, especially if they aren't going to board. Now, unless you're fortunate enough to be able to buy your house in the country without having first sold your house in London, you'll need to concentrate on selling. By all means, do some research by surfing Prime Location and Rightmove, but the harsh reality is that sellers in the country simply won't take you seriously unless you can move to an early exchange of contracts. What you must avoid, if you want to preserve your sanity and nerve ends, is finding your dream house on the doorstep of your chosen school and then losing it to a buyer who is able to proceed. You'll need to be able to compete on an equal footing with the proverbial cash buyer or the buyer living in rented accommodation. And don't even think about open-ended bridging finance. In the current economic climate, your bank manager will be referring you for therapy. Gone are the days when you can put your London house on the market at Easter, wait for the queue of buyers at the front door, accept an offer for £100,000 over the guide price, and expect to be settled in your country house by the beginning of the new school year in September. Nowadays, that simply isn't going to work. You'll need to allow yourselves much more time. Andrew is here to advise on current average timescale, but it could now take 6 to 9 months to sell, not 6 to 9 days. Once you've secured a sale of your London house, you'll be able to negotiate from a position of strength. Both agents and sellers will take you seriously. At this stage, cash is king, and you'll have a greater chance of negotiating a better price. If by now you know which school your children will be attending, you'll also know your specific area of search, and it's enormously important to get this right. Only too often do I come across people who have underestimated the number of journeys they'll be making to their children's schools each day. Different aged children are likely to finish their day at different times. Then there are sports matches, concerts, school plays, after-school clubs, and so on, which can result in making multiple journeys to the same school each day. In fact, some mothers in Sussex have been known to drive 600 miles each week on the school run. If only they'd bought a house closer to their chosen school. If you can't find the right house to buy, don't be afraid to rent. Over the past 15 years, prospective buyers have been reluctant to rent in the country as they've been terrified of rapidly rising property values. But in a changing market, a 6-month rental might not be such a bad idea. Living locally, you'll find it easier to house hunt. You'll gain valuable knowledge of the area, and you'll establish which towns have which amenities. Far better to do this whilst you concentrate on finding the right property in the right area than purchase the wrong one and have to move again within a few years. Moving from London to the country will be life-changing for you and your family. For those of you who are planning such a move over the next couple of years, good luck, and remember to give yourselves plenty of time. If Strutt Parker can help you in any way, please do come and talk to Andrew or to me, or come and see us on our stand. Thank you very much.